teach in a school in a deprived area, and a couple of weeks ago, we were doing potato. You carve a potato, you dip it in some paint, you put it on some paper.
Yes.
And a kid said, Miss, what are you going to do with the little bits of potato that are left over from the potato printing? And I said, well, I'm going to bin it. And the child said to me, Miss, can I take it home? Because my mum hasn't got much in the cupboard, so can I eat these bits of potato that are left over? So to me, I can suck it up by saying, yes, Mrs. Thatcher changed Britain. I can agree with that, because the important thing is that we need to get these characters out of government.
No, the parents need to get out of the house and do some fucking work.
I can agree with that, because the important thing is that we need to get these characters out of government. We need to get these disillusioned Tories to vote Labour. That's the important thing. Sometimes, for me, it is really difficult. Stuff like the two-child benefit cap, it's really difficult. But I'm out here every week banging on doors because I know that Labour is the only chance that children like the ones I teach have got.
You're amazing. That was, I mean, I feel like you've just injected something into my veins, actually. And drawing on not just the context of where you've been canvassing, but on the perspective that you have as a teacher in a deprived area, looking after children who are scraping potato off the classroom floor effectively. That was an absolutely extraordinary contribution.
This is the problem. We are shifting the blame. The reason why these children are starving, the reason why people are lining up outside the food banks and that, it's not because of who's in government or who's in power. The reason why these people are starving, the reason why these people are suffering is because they've made bad decisions in the past. Getting this new person into government, getting this current person out of government is not going to fix the majority of people's situations and that. They put themselves in that situation. Since I've been alive, I've seen about probably 4 or 5 different prime ministers and that. Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, Boris Johnson, obviously Rishi Sunak and a few other people and that. When my life was good, it's because I was making good decisions. And when my life was bad, it's because I'm making bad decisions and that. When I was on road, getting in trouble and that, getting nicked, going to prison, coming out, getting rushed, riding out, doing all this nonsense and that. There was a few different people that was in power and in government and that. My life started to get better when I started to make some changes and that. Changing whoever's in power right now, it's not going to make a fucking difference. The reason why these people are suffering is because they made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. The cleaning starts at home. All these people that are suffering, they need to look in the mirror and think to themselves, the reason why I'm suffering, the reason why I'm starving, the reason why I can't afford to heat up my house is because I've made bad decisions. But until people look in the mirror and say that to themselves and hold themselves accountable, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. Over the last, 5 years, we had a couple of different people in power and in government and that. My life has still been the same. Do you know why? Because I'm putting the fucking work. I don't care who's in government. I don't care who's not in government and that. Yeah, they might make things a little bit more difficult, a little bit harder. I remember when Boris Johnson was coming in, I'm sure he was saying something along the lines of abolishing stamp duty and that. Yeah, that might make things a little bit more difficult and easier and that. I've got a family member, they did buy a property one time and they had to, I think the property was worth about 360 or something like that, around the 300 mark. And they had to pay about 18,000 in stamp duty. I mean, they would have loved to have saved that 18,000 in stamp duty. So it will make things a little bit easier or a little bit harder depending on what people put in place in government and that. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not really make no fucking difference. That £18,000 that someone is able to save off stamp duty, that is not going to turn them into a millionaire. And it's either you're going to become a millionaire or you're not. Yeah. So these people need to hold themselves accountable. Going banging on people's doors and that, telling people to change to Labour and that is not going to make a difference. The problem is everyone is relying on handouts. Everyone is relying on the government. And I don't rely on no one but myself to create a decent reality for myself, a good and viable reality for myself. And until you adopt that sort of mindset and that, you're never going to make it in life. This is the reason why people that look like me are suffering and that. This is why the reason people that look like me, they feel like they're a victim and that. They're trying to blame someone else. Oh, I have a generational curse. Oh, this, oh, that. Blood, things are not difficult for people that look like me nowadays. Yeah, maybe back in the 60s and 50s and that. Yeah, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. That don't exist no more. There's so much opportunities out here. You have to go and find it. You got to put the work in. The problem is people want to sit in their house and think that someone's going to knock on their door and come and fix their situation. You got to fix your situation yourself. That's the only person, especially as a man, the only person that's going to fix your situation is you. You might have one friend that's going to knock on your door and try and help you in the situation now. But once they see that you're not putting in the effort, they're going to drop you out. They're going to abandon you. So no one's going to fix your situation apart from you. These people that are struggling and that, I promise you, if you look back through their timeline and that, when they should have been working, when they should have been grinding, that they was partying, in this place, IB for getting STD, getting drunk underneath a table and that, they should have been working, they should have been grinding. So I don't feel sorry for none of them, man. I feel sorry for the children and that, because it's not their fault. But I don't feel sorry for none of the adults that are struggling in that. At some point in your life, you had the opportunity to make something of yourself, and you just thought, nah, forget it. Why do I need to go to university? Oh, why do I need to get educated and that? I'm alright working at this hardware store and that. Nah, fam, it's not good enough. And now, you're feeling the brunt of it.